All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining today in this webinar talking about what's in store for energy incentive programs. We're really excited to have you all here today and just let you know what's been going on. My name is Elena Lee, and I'm a project manager for the SoCal REN. I just wanted to go over a few housekeeping before we get started. But first off, this webinar is being recorded and will be shared afterwards in follow-up emails. All of our participant microphones are muted unless you are a speaker. But if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. We do have time reserved at the end of our presentation to tend to those questions. But if there's any technical issues, feel free to directly message me, Elena Lee, or email me at eli@energycoalition.org. But with that, I'm going to pass it off to my colleague, Natalie Espinosa.
Awesome. Thank you, Elena. Next slide, please. Perfect. All right. So thank you all for being here. We have a really good agenda reviewing programs and what we can expect in the very near future. And we have quite a few guest speakers on the line today. So I don't want to spend too much time speaking myself. So with that, we can go to the next slide. And I can speak a little bit to the SoCal REN as a program. So the history and the context around the unique funding that enables our work and allows for our services to be offered free of charge is on this slide here. So SoCal REN was created in 2012 and authorized by the California Public Utilities Commission to deploy ratepayer-funded programs that assist in achieving the state's aggressive energy goals. So SoCal REN's mission is all about empowering energy efficiency action and leadership with diverse communities across Southern California. So the County of Los Angeles administers the portfolio of programs listed here, providing tailored support to different segments of utility customers. So today we are coming to you from the public agencies programs. So we acknowledge that public agencies play a vital role in shaping a more resilient and sustainable clean energy future for the communities that they serve. Next slide, please. So in line with our agencies playing a vital role in shaping a more resilient and sustainable future, we believe that the organizations that support the public agencies that we work with play a really, really important part as well. So this is why we work with our various regional partners that are listed here to bring the best possible support to all of our agencies. So we have the Gateway Cities COG, San Gabriel Valley COG, and South Bay Cities COG to thank today for supporting this webinar and for bringing us all together to share and stay informed on the impacts of energy efficiency programming and public agencies and how they're going to affect the public agencies. So our presenters today include Samantha Meza from the South Bay Cities COG, Alexander Fung from the San Gabriel Valley COG, and Mahogany Smith Christopher from the Gateway Cities COG. We also have from the SoCal REN programs, Angela Vasili and Sheena Tran. So thank you all for presenting today. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Sam.
Sorry about that. I was having trouble unmuting myself. I'm Samantha Meza. I'm an environmental services analyst with the South Bay COG. And our COG is made up of 16 cities in the LA County area that have the goal of maximizing quality of life and productivity in the South Bay region. So we work on a variety of projects, including transportation and homelessness, senior services, and environmental work, and really any project where the cities can be more effective by coming together. I'm going to cover some background on utility energy efficiency incentive programs. And these programs have historically been offered by statewide investor-owned utilities. In our region, that's Southern California Edison and SoCal Gas. And these programs are in place to help offset costs for customers who upgrade their equipment to more efficient options. Some common programs that you may have heard of or participated in are included here on the slide in bullet points, but it's not just limited to those programs. Those are a few examples. And the overall goal of incentive programs has been to encourage customers to select and install high efficiency equipment that will use less energy than standard equipment, and in general, help cities advance towards climate goals and help the state meet their energy reduction goals as well. So we can move on to the next slide. And the South Bay Cities COG, like other COGs in the Southern California region, has provided support to our member cities for these incentive programs. And this has typically been done through program promotion and an effort to usher these cities through such programs on a regional level, and also through providing benchmarking and energy reporting that aids in project discovery, as well as audit coordination at city facilities, and support on energy program incentive applications. And we also help in celebrating success once projects have been completed. And on the right there's a photo from a council presentation where we highlighted a member city's energy projects. So through our work with the SoCal REN, we are looking forward to continuing to offer our cities this support for the new programs that are underway and on the horizon. So with that, I'm going to transition it over to Alex, who will speak to some of the program changes that will be coming down the line.
Thank you so much, Sam. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alexander Fung, and I'm a senior management analyst with the San Gabriel Valley COG. So very close to our sister COGs here. And we have 31 cities within our jurisdictions, and we focus on providing regional solutions to emerging issues. And I will share a little bit more on some of the key definitions and how the incentive programs are changing. So just diving into the key definitions here before we go further. So an implementer, as defined by the CPUC, is just a private contractor. And a program implementer, it's an entity or individual that puts a program or part of a program into practice based on contracts or agreements with the portfolio manager. As for third party or 3P programs, their programs are proposed, designed, implemented, and delivered by non-utility personnel. And they're under contract to utility program administrator. So for example, these can be energy consulting firms, construction firms, and nonprofits. They're all 3P programs. Next slide, please. So diving into how and why incentive programs are changing. And I'm sure that's the cities and agencies here will hear a lot more from your respective COGs and implementers over the next couple of months. Essentially, the CPUC is requesting the change in order to broaden the marketplace of energy efficiency programs and allow for innovative and cost-effective solutions. The hope is that 3P programs will provide diverse solutions to maximize their customer experience alongside program success. So as a result, the IOUs are closing many of their existing incentive programs. Additionally, IOUs must outsource 60% of their programs to third-party implementers by the end of next year. But this will allow third-party implementers to develop and deliver new programs that will provide more innovative supports and services. Next slide, please. So with regards to the new program roles, IOUs, so basically Edison and Gas, their program administration roles will focus to ensure cost effectiveness of their programs, and they will also manage the third-party program contracts. As for third parties will take the role of program design and implementation. And essentially, again, this is to allow for third parties to develop innovative programs and basically provide them to various customer segments that perhaps weren't previously covered before. Ultimately, this change will allow both the IOUs and third parties to implement programs that will lead to more energy savings. So for our cities and agencies here, we will continue to provide services and support your energy endeavors. With that, I will pass it to Angela to speak more on what we know about the third parties. Thank you.
Great, yeah, thanks, Alex. So as mentioned, my name is Angela Vasili. I am a program manager for the SoCal REN Public Agency Programs and will be discussing our approach to tracking the investor-owned utility or IOU energy efficiency programs that are to be implemented by third parties to our various customer segments. So as the COGS shared previously, many new IOU energy efficiency programs are expected to launch this year, as well as next, as a result of the IOUs outsourcing their energy efficiency programs to be implemented by third parties. But not to worry, SoCalRent is here navigating this third-party program process and learning new information as programs start to go online. So listed here, SoCalRent has put together a third-party or 3P program coordination task force to stay up to date on all of the new information as it becomes available and to be a resource for the team. So all of these updates are pulled from the California Energy Efficiency Coordinating Committee or CAKE website each month, where we review any posted draft implementation plans for relevance to our SoCalRent public agency program customers. We then reach out for any coordination calls with the third-party implementers to collect information that they're able to share at that time and ask any questions after reviewing any implementation plans as applicable to our customers. So this is conducted on an ongoing basis as new information is released. We're still waiting on information to be released as programs start to go online. And the programs that have launched thus far, we're working closely with the implementers just to collect information that they're available to share with us. Next slide. So as mentioned previously, to meet the goal of outsourcing at least 60% of the IOU's energy efficiency programs to third parties by the end of next year, various solicitations for program design and implementation have been scheduled to cover a range of sectors, including local and statewide solicitations. A rolling solicitation timeline is being followed through various sectors with a manageable number of solicitations designed to ensure that all IOUs reach at least 60% of their portfolios to be designed and implemented by these third parties next year. So once a solicitation for a program from the IOUs is released, there can be multiple bidders on the program types, such as focusing on a commercial sector program. Each solicitation follows a two-stage bidding process, so a request for abstract or RFA stage, followed by a request for proposal or RFP stage. When a solicitation enters that RFA stage for a program, submissions by third parties are reviewed and evaluated, and a short list of bidders advance to the next phase, the RFP stage. So at that time, proposals are evaluated and bidders are selected for contract negotiations. Proposals are then reevaluated for final award. So once a contract is executed, regulatory documents are filed to refine program offerings and measures, as well as the development of program tools and materials. And this is what the SoCalRent reviews as part of our 3P coordination task force activities that was listed on the last slide. But as you can see here, this solicitation process can span several months as proposals are reviewed and evaluated, and is why not all the details for each program expected to launch later this year and next have been released yet. Many programs have yet to start this solicitation process, but this timeline is also found on the IOU's website. Next slide. But what do we know so far? So listed here are the new third-party programs that have launched applicable to the SoCalRent public agency program customers. So as you can see here, majority of them are midstream or upstream programs. And like Sam mentioned earlier, midstream or upstream programs can offer discounts on specific product types when purchased through approved distributors. But just at a very high level for today's webinar, the programs that have launched include Comfortably California, which is the statewide heating, ventilation, and air conditioning program. the Illuminate California program, which is the statewide lighting program, as well as the statewide midstream water heating program, which includes high efficiency natural gas and electric water heaters, such as boilers. And then lastly, the California Food Service Instant Rebate Program. So we are on an ongoing coordination with all these implementers for the programs that have launched and are collecting information as it is shared with us. But yeah, so listed here on this next slide are some of the sectors in which we expect to see programs have launched either later this year or in 2022. It's important to note that the launch dates are estimate and can change just based on solicitation timelines, but we are tracking these timelines and reviewing official information as it is released. So some programs we are expecting to launch either next year or early this year include SoCalGas's large commercial program, as well as Southern California Edison's comprehensive commercial and industrial programs. So both of these or all of these are comprehensive programs, which include a variety of options for participation, including a normalized energy consumption approach, as well as deemed and custom options for participation. But for the purpose of today's webinar, you can think of deemed options as a predetermined rebate and a custom option as a calculated incentive based on energy savings. But in addition to those, Southern California Edison's public sector, agricultural, and water and wastewater programs are expected to launch next year following their respective solicitation timelines. All right, so some new programs that offer incentives are coming online in 2022 will be through the statewide third-party implementers, and if approved by the commission, by SoCalRen as well. SoCalRen will propose 2 incentive programs for implementation in 2022 to fill public sector gaps, and incentives for both programs will be based on greenhouse gas emissions reductions and include the SoCalRen's existing metered savings program, as well as a new streamlined savings pathway. So this streamlined savings pathway is designed to leverage both deemed and custom approaches, as mentioned earlier, to process public agency projects that maximize savings opportunities while minimizing those processing times, and will focus on electric measures. Additionally, the primary objective of this pathway is just to ensure that there's no gap in the market and to support the continuing momentum of public agency project delivery. This also targets public agencies with a focus on equity by providing higher incentives based on deep energy reductions to underserved communities. These programs will be submitted in the biannual budget advice letter for the Public Utility Commission's approval. All right, so I know this is a lot of information. So what does this all mean for public agencies? So as you can tell, many new programs are going to be launching this year and next by a variety of third-party implementers based on their solicitation timelines. Agencies will have more choices between programs for opportunities and incentives for projects that they're looking to implement. More programs may also mean more applications, but we'll learn more information as program specifics start to go online. Again, not to worry, SoCalRen, we're working here to navigate this process and collect information as it is released. But if there are any questions, you always could reach out to your assigned SoCalRen project manager. But with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mahogany to discuss the regional partner support along the 3P coordination process.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. My name is Mahogany Smith Christopher, and I serve as the Assistant Planner for the Gateway Cities Council of Governments. So in addition to your SoCalRen project manager providing timely updates regarding new third-party programs, your regional COG will also be sharing out this information. So on the Gateway side, we have our bi-weekly newsletter, so you can be expecting that, energy working groups, education and training opportunities, series of webinars continuing on from this webinar once more third-party programs are announced, and also recognition models. And now I would like to hand it over to Sheena Tran from LA County, who will be presenting on their EV program.
Thank you so much. There's so many exciting things coming next year. This is such a great presentation. Thank you to all the other presenters. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Sheena Tran. I'm a program manager at LA County, and I'll be leading the EV grant implementation that LA County was recently awarded from the California Energy Commission. So a bit about the grant, it provides funding for LA County to implement projects developed in the first phase of the EV Ready Communities Grant solicitation. And under this grant, you'll see that there are 3 components or programs, and one of which is the EV Ready DAC program. So under this program, the purpose is to couple Evse installations with energy efficiency retrofits. So the program will co-fund charging station installations for participating public agencies that are going through a SoCalREN program. It'll also provide support to local agencies throughout the site compliance process for charging station sites and equipment. And of course, we'll encourage participation in SE's rebate program and provide application support. The other program here is the County Streamlining Permitting and Standardization Pilot, which seeks to do what the name says, to streamline and standardize the permitting process. So one goal under that pilot is to increase efficiency and reduce permitting process costs. The third component is the Evse Multi-Unit Dwelling Incentives Program, which will leverage the SoCalREN multifamily program to incentivize installations. One of the program goals is to help drive multi-unit dwelling installations during EE retrofit projects and provide a share of funding to cover the upfront costs of the EV chargers. So to talk about the eligibility requirements for the EV Ready DAC program, it'll be open to public agencies that serve DACs and who own public sites in which EVSE infrastructure can be installed. It'll be limited to projects in LA County only, and projects must be within a certain distance to a multifamily unit dwelling within SE territory. And as the intent of the program is to couple EV charger installations with energy efficiency retrofits, the project sites must also have EE opportunities. Next slide, please. About the timeline, we expect to launch this program as well as the other 2 programs under this grant at the beginning of the next year. So January 2022, we'll have this out in market. I've included a diagram here just to show where the EV grant application would fall in the process after a public agency is enrolled and decides to pursue an EV strategy as part of an overall project. And with that, I look forward to sharing more information as we launch at the start of the next year. Back to you, Natalie.
I think, oh, Natalie, go ahead.
Sure. I was going to see first if we wanted to open it up to a few questions.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, before we jump into the poll questions for really any of the information. So if anyone on the line, we did get towards the end here of the presentation a little faster. So I definitely want to open up to any discussion or questions that anyone may have regarding the presentation so far. Or we can just launch into the poll. That works as well. Go ahead, Mahogany.
Okay, so now with all the information we've been presented with, we do have some poll questions. So the first one is, have you been contacted by a third-party implementer? Secondly, would you like follow up from your SoCalREN project manager regarding EV programs and support? And then thirdly, what types of third-party programs would you like to learn more about in future webinars? HVAC, distributed energy resources, lighting, water, and if you have any additional suggestions, feel free to chat them in. So we'll leave a couple minutes for you all to fill this out. Not sure how we're doing with responses. Are we getting some?
Oh, sorry. We are getting responses.
Okay.
We're at about 42% participated. Around 16 of 38 participants have sent in their answers. I am seeing that for the first question of have you been contacted by a third-party implementer? We have, it doesn't look like a lot have been contacted, but we do have some results coming in that some of our participants have been contacted. Does anyone want to let us know, which program that was from and what the response you may have had to that implementer was?
I was going to say, hi, Natalie, this is Sumi from the Gateway
Sure.
College. I was going to say that there are a number of our cities that have been contacted, some contacted even before we started the REN program. And so they continue to come forward. And I know that at least one city has contacted us to get more information about how best to engage, because the third-party contractor had actually gotten the contract through their mayor or city council member. Mm-hmm. So that's sometimes how it works, or how it has been working. And so our hope is that we can help manage that, or help cities to manage that, so that they won't necessarily be left out of the loop on that process. Yeah. Because they have to manage the project once it's been awarded.
Definitely. And I think that is most what we want to help our agencies with, is when when everyone is contacted. If you're contacted by someone, you can route it to us, and we can help you determine whether that is a program that does make sense for your agency, and go ahead and move forward. But I'm seeing Adriana, you have your hand raised.
Yes. Hi, Natalie. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. No, I actually had a hard time answering that question because, to be quite honest with you, I don't know if we've been contacted. And the reason why is we get so much junk mail every single day that we just hit delete. So yeah, I don't know, but to Sumi's point, yes, there are going to be contractors that are going to be contacting our higher ups, like the mayor, the council, the city manager's office. And typically when that happens, at least for our city, that is then sent over to us in Public Works to, to kind of look further into it. But that's only how it works here in Paramount. I don't know how other cities may handle that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that is pretty consistent with what we see from a lot of our agencies. And so I think, Angela, that's a little bit of what you were speaking to, of us trying to collect as much information as possible on our end, so that we can continue to be, that trusted resource to say, this new program has just launched. These are the people that are implementing it. So if you do see something come from them, know that we're communicating. I don't know, Angela, if you wanted to speak a little bit to that, about our communication with some of those implementers.
Yeah, happy to. Just going to reiterate what kind of you said, Natalie. So yeah, we are on an ongoing process trying to keep up to date with all of the new programs that have launched and are expected to launch, and collecting that information to share with our team. But if you do have any questions of the implementer reaching out to you, or if you hear about a program that you're unsure about, that is what we're here for. We're meant to be a resource. So you always can, send those questions to your project manager, and we can help work through those.
Yeah, and I think similar to us having Sheena come and speak about her program with these webinars, we'd like to continue offering that opportunity, so that you hear it straight from the source in a single place, so that that information is shared, and your cities, your agencies can participate in those programs that are being presented all over the place. I totally understand getting a lot of information all day long, trying to sift through all of that. I think that we have now closed the poll results. I think we can share those real quick. Okay, so I think everyone can see it. It looks like most have not been contacted by the third-party implementers at this point. And we'll be sure to share that list of who those third-party implementers are with the agencies as we get that information. And then it looks like we have a 50-50 on follow-up regarding that EV program. So we'll be taking note of these results and following up with whoever would like to have that information further shared with them. And then to see here the list of programs that you all would like to hear more from. It looks like mostly the distributed energy resources, which we can definitely, we can anticipate that would be the response, but good to hear it from everyone and make sure that we can get those resources and that kind of speaking opportunity available for these future webinars. But it looks like we want to hear from a good amount of these topics. So not everything is applicable to everyone. So we know we need to offer those in a variety of fashions. But I think from there, I want to open up the floor if there's any other questions, if there's any other, general discussion points that we may want to go over today before we wrap up quite a bit early, but I'm always grateful to give people more time in their calendar as well.
Sumi again. Gateway COG. I also just wanted to point out that when we first started enrolling people in SoCalREN, people who had been working with third-party providers were thinking REN was in conflict with that they couldn't join SoCalREN and work with third-party. And that's, I guess, one of the things that we wanted to also illuminate is that you can do both. That REN can support you in following up and reporting and doing all the things that are necessary to make the most of those third-party contracts that you have.
Yeah, no, thank you, Sumi. We definitely want to reiterate that we are here to support public agencies participate in whatever programs they are eligible for in regards to energy and energy efficiency. And so that's where bringing together everyone here is really helpful, and working with your COGs is especially helpful because you may have more communication with them, but we are not in conflict with any other programs that you could be participating in that have to do with energy and energy efficiency. And October is actually, I believe, Energy Efficiency Month. So I'm happy that we were able to do this presentation during this first week of October as well. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Oh, I see a question coming in. We will be sharing the presentation. I believe we can share that with everyone after this, and everyone can have access to that info. Any of our other speakers want to say anything else, or are we good to go?
All Thanks for having us today, SoCalREN.
Yeah. Thank you. All right.